Oh, hello there, my loves. It's me. It's your Monday treat, Uncle Jimmy. That's me. Anyway, so let's begin by telling you what might be coming your way this week. So tomorrow, I think there will be a live painting stream in the evening. No idea what I'm going to paint. Any suggestions might be entertained as long as it involves a bottom. I'm really joking, of course. But otherwise, I'll just do something on the spot and see what happens. I've also quite fancy doing a painting of Zippy. If anyone knows who Zippy is, you might understand what I'm talking about. I quite like that little character from Rainbow, a children's program from back in the 80s in the UK. Wednesday, I might do a mini book haul because I've got quite a few books that I've purchased myself and two new Misty annuals. So that'd be nice to pop those out so that next week I can resume the Misty readings. On Thursday, there will be the usual live stream, and you all get to visit my new bar, which I'm calling Beaver Fever. Well, it's a bar cum nightclub. There's a small dance floor. So 80s music or music that sounds as though it originates from the 80s. And if you can segue a little beaver in there, all the better. There will be a quiz related to bars and nightclubs that feature in 80s movies, my loves. Treat. Friday, I've got no plans for. If possible, I will do the Chocky book review. Because if I don't do it soon, I'll forget what the hell Chocky's all about. So that might be coming on Friday. So a jam-packed week ahead, my loves. So last week, I didn't really get up to that much. I've got a list of things here. So the first thing of note, I suppose, is I did a little painting for my dear friend, Sephiros. However, well, it's for Todgerson. Todgerson reached out, his alter ego, and so this is for a book cover of a fictitious novel that doesn't exist. Space Boner. It's about some kind of skeletal rapscallion. And so I've done here the skeleton's hand holding a bone. What could that bone be? And this young lady who's a little bit surprised, really. It's only one of these little tiny canvases, and I knocked it out in about an hour and a half. Todgerson, or Sephiros, was surprised that I kept her tits covered. Sometimes I can manage it. Well, I did wonder, I thought maybe it could be used as a book cover, but it is too small and slightly shambolic. What else have I been doing? Well, I've started yet another short story, having not even finished the previous one, called Pencil, which is about a young lad who discovers telekinesis. I'm kind of halfway through that one and then I've just abandoned it. I will finish it. Now I'm writing one called Standard, which is about a standard bearer. So those medieval fellows that held aloft the colours of the crown or whatever army they were supporting. They were typically not armed and had a relatively short career, shall we say, because the opposing army would always try to get the flag and all of that. Flags are so wonderful, aren't they? Everyone wants to grab one. So it's all about one of those fellows, but one that apparently cannot be slain. There we are, something of that nature. I've only done about 1,000 words, and I don't really know. There's a couple of directions I could take it in, and I don't know which way to go, and so it's stalled, and which means I may not even ever write the bloody thing. But there we are, little insight into the shambolic nature of my writing. Okay, so the next thing. So now I'm going to get on to the things we've been watching. Now, this next segment, if you want to skip it, I don't mind at all. But me and Vanessa watched 4 hours of absolute gold on Saturday, and that was, of course, the 2026 Eurovision Song Contest. So it starts at 8 o'clock and finishes, if you're lucky, around midnight. 25 different acts to get through, including our own UK entry, which was unfortunately not that. It wasn't a bad song. I didn't think it was that bad, really. And the young fellow that does it is a YouTuber, apparently. I think he's called Look Mum No Computer or something like that. He only scored 1 point. So we were last. We came last. But unless we have an absolutely stonking song, we tend to finish last because the other European countries don't really like us, I don't think, anyway. But there we are. We came last. But I had some favourites amongst that crop of songs. And now I'm going to show you clips from them. But I'm quite prepared for this to cause copyright problems, and I may have to subsequently cut them out. So I'll just talk about them and, if possible, play a little clip. So one of my favourites was an early entry into the songs at the beginning. I think it was the third or fourth one, something like that. And it was Belgium. And shit, I can't remember what the damn song was called. Bear with me. Something about ice, I think. Yes, that's right. Dancing on Ice. And yes, I mean, it sounds rather pedestrian when you call it that, but it was actually quite a lovely song. See if there's a clip here. Okay, next was Romania's offering. There was a bit of controversy surrounding this one because the song is called Choke Me. Dear me. But the thing I liked, I quite liked the song, but the singer reminded me of Xena, the warrior princess. See what you think if I'm allowed to put a clip on. Okay, now moving on to Moldova. Again, I didn't mind the song, but the highlight for me was the singer's female companion. A small clip. Welcome to Moldova, Moldova, aloha, adio, vida loca. Yes. Now, this is one of the other reasons I quite like watching the Eurovision Song Contest. There's some very beautiful women and men, of course, and I enjoy it visually more than anything, I suppose. Anyway, moving on. Another wonderful one was by Croatia. Now, this was an excellent song, and I suppose the various women, it was all women singers, wonderful performance, and it was kind of a pagan sounding song, if you will. They all resembled witches. Check this out if you're able. Last one I enjoyed, we both enjoyed this one, me and Vanessa, was Italy's offering. I think they finished third in the contest. It was an older singer, but somehow remarkably retains jet black hair. But I think very famous in Italy. And this song was great. It had a bit of a disco beat in the background and was all revolving around a wedding, I think. Saremo io e te. Per sempre legati per la vita che senza te non vale niente, non ha senso vivere con la mano Yes, it's kind of rather old sound. It's an old-fashioned sounding song, but I loved it. I really loved it, and I think a lot of other people did as well. The poor chap, I think he seemed a bit miffed at the end. I thought he thought they were going to win it. Well, they almost did. Delta, of course, Delta Goodrem was in it as well. Australian singer. She used to be in Neighbours, the soap. And she did rather well as well. I didn't like the song at all personally, but she sang it really well. And I think they came second, maybe, or was it fourth? I don't know, around that mark. Bulgaria won it with this stonking number. I'm the bangara, bangaranga, 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 I'm the bangara, bangaranga, 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 I'm the bangara. Welcome to the riot. I'm the bangaranga. Yes, it's the kind of fare that normally wins Eurovision, but quite enjoyed it. Quite a rip-roaring adventure that was, if you will. Anyway, that's the Eurovision Song Contest news, especially for Shuffleboil, because I know he really likes Eurovision. Okay, what else? The last things we watched over the weekend. We got a hell of a lot done, my loves. So, Legends is a limited series, 6-part, I think. On Netflix, I want to say. I think it was on there. Featuring Steve Coogan, better known as, or more commonly known as, Alan Partridge. But yeah, this is quite interesting. It was about the kind of... So over in America, during the Reagan years, trying to stop the drugs coming into the country. The similar thing was happening over here, but utilizing customs officials with far less powers at their disposal than, say, the FBI or the CIA had. And it was quite interesting. So doing it on a shoestring with people that weren't really trained to do this kind of stuff, quite dangerous thing to be getting involved with, but yes, very entertaining, quite wonderful. We also watched Witch, that horror film that's spelt with 2 V's at the beginning. Now, I've seen this before, but I suggested it to Vanessa. She absolutely hates horror films and won't watch them, but because she's a witch herself, I believe she was entertained watching this. Really, really good. Wonderful seeing it for the second time. Anyone who hasn't seen it, this is kind of during the pioneer phase of establishing America, I suppose. So we have this English family. From the way they speak, I would say from North England, and they've been ousted out of their plantation or this community that they were previously affiliated with due to some kind of disagreement, religious disagreement, the father being very pious. Anyway, they go off to start off their own little farm beside a forest. And all manner of horrible things happen. Really quite lovely. Well, not lovely, but wonderful. And the last thing we watched was the first 3 episodes of the new series of The Rivals, which is based off the Jilly Cooper novels, set in the 1980s, about 2 rival television networks. Lots of shagging, lots of duplicity, lots of smoking, lots of nakedness. Yes, that's the kind of thing we like watching on the weekend, my loves. Anyway, it's very entertaining. It's very funny as well. Anyway, I'll leave it there, I think. I think that's about all there is I can talk about today. Yes, I think that's all of it. And yes, thank you very much for listening to me prattling along once again. And now I've been slightly tardy in replying to comments. I will try to get some more done today, but unfortunately, it's taking increasingly longer for me to get through replying. But just bear with me. I always reply unless someone's being fucking horrible to me, in which case I'll either ignore you or just delete your comment. Just saying. But if you've got this far on, I don't think you're one of the ones that doesn't like what I'm doing, if you will. But anyway, there we are. There's always some horrible people in the world. Right, anyway, moving on. Yes, moving on. Goodbye. See you soon. Well, see you tomorrow for some painting, hopefully. And yes, have a lovely week. And I'll be with you all through the week. Can you believe it? Yes, come on. Let's have a nice time together. Cheerio.